Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
We don't need more government assistance. We don't need more handouts or loans or put ourselves more in debt. We need our customers back in order to survive, because we're not going to survive this last restriction that was put on us.
Save small businesses! Save small businesses! Save small businesses!
I moved here in '94. I grew up in Poland. I was touched by communism firsthand. I knew in March of 2020 that something just didn't seem right. And I know what's coming. I know the danger. I know my family lived it. I've lived it. I don't have a business myself. I have not been financially affected. I'm here to support everybody else that has, because everybody is essential. And if we don't stand up now, it's going to be too late. This is our last chance at this.
Save small businesses! Save small businesses! Save small businesses!
Drea, Humphrey here with Rebel News, standing in Yaletown. Behind me are at least 1,000 people who are against the recent restrictions on businesses in British Columbia, and they say enough is enough. Now, we marched with these people, we stood with these people, we heard their message, and now you can too. All right, I'm here with one of the organizers of Save Small Business BC, Nav, or Coach Nav. Now tell us, why are all these people here today?
You know what? Bonnie Henry, she imposed these restrictions on us Monday at midnight. So we all woke up Tuesday morning angry. You know, all these small businesses are suffering for nothing, almost nothing. All of these people have had minimal to zero cases. It's hard, especially for the restaurant owners who have, they've invested so much, and then being told at midnight that they can't operate for St. Patrick's Day or for New Year's Eve or for the long weekend. I mean, the government just isn't working with small businesses, and if they really want to help us, that's what they need to do, is they need to step up, they need to talk to small businesses.
I'm with Incognito Coffee. We're downtown on 843 Seymour Street. My husband and I are co-owners.
Why don't you let everybody watching know why it's important that everybody's here today?
Some people, even if they're not small business owners employ other people. This is they're literally, this last restriction put it's like a death sentence on all small businesses. And even if one day you were thinking of having your own business, you have to support this, because it's gonna go away. Small businesses will disappear. We're all gonna close down. We're not gonna survive this last restriction that was put on us. It's, That's why we're here. We're at a limit. We have to do something.
Here with another business owner attending today. Why is it important for you to be here?
We have to stand up and speak up, because it's actually getting to a point of no return. And for small businesses, if we don't do it now, we're going to have no businesses to save.
Enough. That's the chant being heard by at least 1,000 Vancouverites who have had enough with the latest restrictions here in BC. This is a rally to support small businesses and medium-sized businesses. They've had enough. They don't believe that it's going to be for just 3 weeks, and quite frankly, many of them don't think they can survive if it is another 3 weeks. Good luck, mainstream media, twisting this into some sort of conspiracy theory or anti-mask rally. It's never been about that. It has been about government overreach, and enough is enough.
Businesses! Save small businesses! Open our businesses! Open our businesses!
It's important for me because I moved here in '94. I grew up in Poland. I was touched by communism firsthand. I knew in March of 2020 that something just didn't seem right. And I know what's coming. I know the danger. I know my family lived it. I've lived it. I don't have a business myself. I have not been financially affected. I'm here to support everybody else that has, because everybody is essential. And if we don't stand up now, it's going to be too late. This is our last chance at this. And people need to realize there is no going back to normal if we don't stand up. This is it.
What would you say to the government? They're saying just 3 more weeks.
You know, we've been hearing that for over a year now, and it's like dangling a carrot in front of a donkey, and I'm not a donkey, so I'm tired of it. And what I want to know is, why are small businesses being forced to close, whereas stores like Walmart, large restaurants, Costco, yeah, I'm going to call them out. Why are they allowed to stay open when small businesses have, complied with all the restrictions, all the regulations? We've spent so much money on all this plastic. Everybody's wearing masks. Everybody's doing everything that they possibly can. And even though, we've done everything, wearing masks, I know a lot of people are getting the vaccine, yet, none of these things are working, and small businesses are still getting shut, even though we're doing everything they're asking us to do. So why is that happening? That's my question.
Garfield is a sales professional with one of the people we interviewed, owner of 2 locations. There's an exclusive interview coming up for that at rebelnews.com. Garfield, tell us why it was important for you to be here at this protest.
Yeah, so for me, I used to work in Corey's business out east, and we got shut down so many different times. I was knocking doors, so door-to-door telecom sales, and for anybody who's in sales, you already know there's enough ups and downs. I didn't need the government adding to that. So I remember back in February when the first shutdown came, it's we were going up and up as a business. I think we had probably about 50 different employees at that point, all around my age, anywhere from 19 to 25, and we all got laid off because we couldn't work. So for that specific reason, I knew I had to come out here today.
If I'm out of breath, that's because... The march has been going strong. We went through Granville Street, which is packed with businesses that are affected by this lockdown. There are a ton of people out here, and I think Dr. Bonnie Henry is going to have some explaining to do. Show these businesses and people who are advocates for small and medium business, show them the science. I'm here with Ryan, an owner of a dance studio. Now, tell a little bit about what you just said. We're at a business rally right now. Tell a little bit about your background. You're such a fighter.
Yeah, so I was born with a genetic lung disease called cystic fibrosis. I was diagnosed at 3. At the time I was diagnosed, I was in the middle of a fight with pneumonia. I was told not to be, my mother was told not to be very optimistic. Who knows what would happen? Luckily, I ended up surviving. And throughout the years, I've dealt with 2 more bouts of pneumonia, many lung infections, stays in the hospital, all of that. And throughout all of that, my mother has been fighting tooth and nail to run her dream, which was a dance school. And all this time, while she's been bringing me to the hospital, staying with me in the hospital when I had lung infections, rushing me there when pneumonia hit, everything. She's been the strongest person I know, and she's been running her business the entire time through all of that.
It just, at this point, it just is what it is, and we've had enough, and it's time for us to fight back as a collective. And I think that that's what we're all here to do, is to fight back as a collective. We're united. We want small businesses to stay open. I think that the stats justify that. It's justifiable for businesses to stay open.
And so what do you think about the turnout here? I see lots of people and some other business owners.
You know what? So many people with so many different beliefs, all united under one cause, and that's to keep small businesses open. I think it's beautiful.
What's your opinion of indoor dining being closed, but yet a business like Bonnie Henry's, the winery, is allowed indoor wining?
Well, I guess wine gets better with age, so she's not worried about inventory going bad like the rest of us restaurant owners are, with produce and food and tens of thousands of dollars of food inventory that have been ordered. It's on its way, and then they restricted the dining. It's very unjust. I don't feel like we are all in this together. If that's the case, we all laugh together, cry together. Then we are all in this together.
I think that's horrible. I think that's very unjust. There's a lot of hypocrisy as always. We see it on every side of the situation, and I think people need to see through it. But of course, the media is not covering what's important, and these conversations are not being brought up to surface. And I thank you for what you're doing.
She owns a winery in BC.
Well, isn't that interesting? Wow. Well, actually, my background is in science. I have an undergrad in biology as well as environmental studies, so I'm very familiar with scientific studies and data. So I have been analyzing the data myself, and really there is no data currently supporting the closure of small businesses like our beautiful restaurants in Vancouver that are supporting diversity and, you know, our beautiful social culture. And keeping wineries open and closing down our small restaurants makes absolutely no sense, not to me, not to any of the data out there.
My business right now, like, we're not necessarily affected by what's going on, but I know if I don't stand up for what's happening to other people, eventually it's going to happen to me too. So that to me was why I had to come out here today.
Well, I think you got a good point there. If we had to bet on it, when the government says just 3 weeks, it's not just 3 weeks. Now, what's your take on thousands of restaurants having to have their indoor dining closed, yet indoor wine tasting? By the way, Bonnie Henry owns a winery. That's allowed. What do you think the science is behind that?
Well, I mean, I can't really comment on the science, but what I do know for sure is there's definitely like a pick and choose of what is okay to be open and what's not okay to be open. I mean, that's been clear since the beginning. It's like, why is Costco okay to be in where I have the same amount of distance from everybody else, but I can't go to my local grocery store, or, you know, I can't go to the local person down the street who owns their mom and pop shop. So that to me, this kind of like double standard, that I think is completely wrong. If you're gonna shut something down, then should just shut everybody down. Well, do not do that. But yeah, if you're gonna be fair, then be fair. Don't pick and choose.
And she went from using her own checks just to keep the business alive, and my father's checks to keep the business alive, to making a good profit, finally being able to move into a better part of the city, bigger house, provide for her kids, her family. And within 1 year, we went from 250 students to 78. We lost 80% of our profits. We are not only back to where we started, but we are tens of thousands of dollars in debt. And we are back to me helping pay the mortgage just so we can survive as a business.
Now, what do you want to say to the government when they say to you, it's just 3 weeks?
Yes, am I allowed to swear?
We can bleep it out.
It'd be like bleep, 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 bleep. You'd have to edit everything out. That's what it would be. It would be a big fat BS. That's the biggest fear of all of this. We just made 13 months. We just survived 13 months. We're one of the few restaurants that have made it this far. To put another restriction on us, we're not going to make it. And as our last 13 months have proven, we haven't gone by the timelines that they have suggested at the beginning of any restrictions and lockdowns. So that is the biggest fear, absolutely. You're reading my mind.
People like me have always been at risk of every virus, of everything like this. I am not gonna force you to not run your business and stay in your house because I am at risk. It is on me to take responsibility and wear a mask if I need to, socially distance if I need to. We can't run society over other people's sensibilities and risks. As much as that might seem mean, that's what freedom is. And I don't want to tell you that you have to wear a mask, and I don't want to tell me that I can't wear a mask. It's not about stopping people from doing anything. It's about having the freedom of choice to choose how you want to protect yourself.
Now, if any of you want to support this business, they can go to...
You can go to www.danceeffectsmapleridge.com or danceeffectsschool.com. Our email is danceeffectsmapleridge@gmail.com, and you can contact us by phone at 778-232-0868.
If you are a small or medium-sized business or even a large business and you feel like enough is enough, please head to iwillopen.ca. Rebel News will stand with you as you explain to British Columbia why it is essential for businesses to be open. Drea Humphrey for Rebel News.